Yeah, beautiful. So I would like to offer, dear friends, yeah, so thank you so much for joining. It looks like we might be running a little bit later than planned, and we have the mystery drama, the third scene for the Guardian of the Threshold. And I think we're ready for that with this great breath that Mary movement that Mary just brought in for us. So I wondered, so the question for me is around something Michaela said, which was looking at the community in relationship to Ida Wegman and Marie Steiner, and how there were misunderstandings between them, but the community, she felt, came in and really helped to really fire it forward, which takes up to us the responsibility of how are we with not only one another, but also around this picture of Ida Wegman and Marie Steiner. And something that Sergei Prokofiev shares brings us picture of moral breathing in the book of The Occult Significance of Forgiveness. And this picture of the etheric Christ and the etheric, that the Nathan soul, the second repetition of the mystery Golgotha happened, and that the Nathan soul experienced the materialistic thoughts of human beings who had crossed the threshold and suffered a second death. And this was in the middle of the 19th century. And so this picture of moral breathing, you know, I have this picture of how we share with one another and how we receive something from the other, something that Marjorie Spock brings. You know, she brings something along the level, if you see someone saying something or hear something that's being said, can you swallow it for them? Can you transform it within yourself? So this picture that we'd like to offer is this picture of also something Sergei brings is world forgiveness, that anthroposophy can lead the way and how we understand. And we could each ask ourselves, how are we? So I want to recommend the book, The Occult Significance of Forgiveness by Sergei. I think he brings in something very significant for our time, and in connection with Marie Steiner and Ida Wegman, who clearly at the end of their own lives had reconciled. And we hear that from their colleagues. And coming up upon the time of the fire, within a short period of time, we are the 100th anniversary. I have this picture of how can we take ourselves in hand? What are those ways? And for me, that is this picture of the basic six. Steiner has shared so many, Rudolf Steiner shared so many wonderful exercises with us. And the basic six exercises, or the essential six, and also the Buddha Eightfold Path, bringing them together in the lecture of the etherization of the blood, we find the etherization of the heart. And then what we're building towards is this next epic, which Rudolf Steiner shares, is already in streaming. There are those who can already experience the in streaming of that. So maybe those who are not involved in conflicts or who are not furthering those things can support those of us who are. Those who may be in different layers and levels, like Rudolf Steiner, being able to, as soon as he receives something, to transform it into medicine right away. So those of us that are already moving in that direction, maybe you'll be able to help hold us as we move towards this idea of a world communion. So I think that's what I'd like to offer right now, the time that I have. And I thought that I would share this quote by Sergei, actually by Rudolf Steiner. Rudolf Steiner shares, the clairvoyant may now perceive something quite special. Another person's good actions toward us at a time in which we did not deserve them. appear as goodness, which we earn back from them. So for me, that looks in a picture, if I just look at Ida Wegman and also Marie Steiner in that moment, that difficult moment of exclusion, that we could look at the end of her life, Ida Wegman, Marie Steiner herself sending a letter out saying, hey, can we have reconciliation to the whole society? And Ida Wegman, shockingly enough, I did not know it was only her who had responded to Marie, who said, yes, I hear in your words future orientation. So we can maybe have a picture of this goodness of Ida Wegman not being able to transform it in her own self and recognize what she said later was, if I had only held those things in my heart, then maybe this also would not have happened. And then the picture of Marie Steiner being able to receive her goodness back of that difficult, challenging moment. And again, looking at misunderstandings are normal and natural in our world. And so how might we have an imagination of these two world creators, because they are world creators? How do we stand with them? And how do we go into this new time now, which he said he and the students would be active within 80 years again after a very short time of incarnation? How do we now have the strength to help hold them as we try to move forward the goals and the hopes and the tasks of anthroposophy? We could say anthroposophia in the world. So that's what I would like to offer, dear friends. Thank you so much, everyone, for your participation, your listening, your caring to be here to help carry this first one. I thought of the mystery drama, the third scene, you know, looking at what Michaela brought about the strength of consciousness and capacity and looking for truthfulness that Marie Steiner was at all points in her life. That looking at this third scene, like I very much appreciated this picture of Benedictus guiding and holding space for his students as they must meet these times that are most challenging and difficult, and with one another together. Something like we could say the green snake and the beautiful lily. This picture of the sacrifice. What more can we do? How can we hold each other and powerfully as we go to the future with the hopes? So I offer that, and I welcome the players who've had just one day rehearsal, and invite them to share this offering for Marie Steiner on the day of her birth. Many blessings. Thank you. Frank?
Okay. So we will invite the players to the stage. And perhaps you can turn your videos off if you're not a player. And they'll just put their costumes on. Meaning their name in their Zoom room. So I might have named everyone. Set the order.
Frank, I might need assistance with that. I'm not quite sure how to do that.
You've done it. It's done for you.
Oh, okay.
Your name has changed already.
Why is the video off?
It's there.
I don't know what to do.
You turn your video off. There's a little thing on the bottom says stop video. On the bottom of the screen on the left, at the bottom.
Got it.
but you're still very much present. You're center stage now, Monica.
Oh, what do I do? That's terrible.
Lovely pink shading you've got there.
Can you do it for me?
I don't know if I can.
What have I got to do?
There's on the bottom of your screen, there should be where it says mute,
It says leave.
and then it says stop video.
I think the administrator can always do that.
Yeah, you can. Frank, you could do that.
That would be great. I really don't know how to get
that-
it. Talking? No.
It looks like you've done it. You just need to, you'll know that it's working when that it's muted or the video stopped when there's a red line through it and your video isn't showing.
Yeah, we're not seeing you any longer. We just see your name. Okay. Just say when we're ready, Frank.
All right, everyone is good.
Oh, I didn't hear. Oh, there was a beautiful picture of this seal. And we start with the periphery. And this work by Kuhn. The first impression is that of continuous motion. It is as if a whirlwind is bending, curving, and sweeping everything along with it, so that no straight line remains. It characterizes the atmosphere surrounding the guardian, created by the earthly desires that souls them. But the seal reveals within this turbulence also a process which develops stage by stage, the building and shaping of a community of 3 individuals. This process starts in the center, where 2 curved lines cross each other. Wherever human beings experience such a crossing, for instance, in physiology, in the crossing of the nerves that lead from the eyes to the brain. Or if we experience this as an outward gesture, crossing legs or folding hands, human being creates awareness of sustained consciousness. In the crossing of the seal, we become conscious of the 4 directions, aiming out toward the circumference. But the aim itself seems to be interrupted by the 4 separate isolated curves. It is a phase in the attempt toward community, familiar to those who seek balance between individual and the whole. These 4 forms remain each for itself, and yet they follow nevertheless the radii of the circle. You see them coming between the form of the cross, radiating outward in a clockwise direction. The periphery is set in motion by a 4-fold wave-like thrust. One can feel a pull from the center, which bends the regular circular swing downward. But the dynamics of this form overcome the pull, and it swings energetically back into the. Here, the individual motion, through its own energy and activity, joins all embracing circle. Without it, something new is created. The small figures above each downward-upward curve are a replica of this happening in the circle. They stand out as individual outposts, breathing the air of the circumference. What is developed in these several phases of the seal depicts the action in the play, leading to the climatic movement at the end, when individuals take over the duties of the brotherhood. altars in their sanctuary are still symbols of the overcoming of the downward trend of an earth-bound existence and the cultivation of a spirit life which follows the guidance of higher beings. Now, 3 individuals take themselves this spirit-inspired guide. From the Guardian of the Threshold, Scene 3, Lucifer's Kingdom. A space not enclosed by artificial walls, but by plant, animal-like shapes, and other forms of fantasy. On the left side of this, from the audience point of view, on the left side of the stage, there is the throne of Lucifer. At first, the souls of Capesius and Maria are present. Somewhat later, Lucifer appears, and then Benedictus, Thomasius, and his etheric counterpart, the devil. And finally, Theodora.
You, who I know to be Capesius within the senses realm, why are you the being I encounter first in Lucifer's domain? It is dangerous to feel and breathe the spirit of this place.
Speak not to me of Capesius. Once he struggled in the realm of earth through a life he long has recognized as dream. There he fixed his attention upon the things which occurred within the course of time. In this way, he thought to find all those forces through which mankind fulfills its deeds and spiritual life. He tried to keep within the deep recesses of his soul all that he came to know about these powers. From this domain, one can behold the knowledge which he then developed and regarded as true images manifesting reality. But viewed from here, they clearly show themselves as naught but empty dreams, which spirits weave into feeble human souls. Human beings cannot bear realities. Fear and bewilderment would descend on them if they could learn how spirits guide the course of life in accordance with their plans.
I have only experienced such words before from beings who till now were never incarnated on the earth. They say the earth is insignificant and of little consequence within the universe. But those belonging to the realms of earth and perceive their best faculties arising from it must have a different view. They must find significant the many threads of destiny connected to earth being within the universe. Even Lucifer, who works here mightily, always looks towards the earth and seeks to guide all human deeds that they may ripen for his purposes. He knows that he would fall prey to darkness were he to make no conquests on the earth. His fate is too bound up with that sphere, just as it is for other cosmic beings. And when the human soul is able to imagine the cosmic aims which Lucifer pursues, comparing them to those of other beings which have him as their enemy, then it will know that he can be defeated by conquests which gains over itself.
The human being speaking to you here dreads that time when he is compelled to wear a living body unmastered by the spirit, yet still retaining its earthly form. At such times as these, this spirit feels the world he treasures collapsing into ruin. It seems to him as if he were imprisoned in a narrow dungeon, bounded by nothingness. All memory of the life he lived then seem extinguished for his soul. Often he is aware of other human beings, but cannot understand what they say. He only grasps particular words which stand out from the rest, reminding him of all the beauty which he can see in spirit realms. He is in the body, but yet is not. He fears the life he lives in it and yearns for that time still to come when from it he will be freed.
Within the body inhabited by souls on earth lies the power to create the noble forms which image forth the beauty of the gods. These images may seem to human beings mere shadows, yet they are the seeds which in the world's evolving will grow to blossom and to fruit. So through their bodies, human beings can serve the gods, and the true meaning of the soul's life can only be revealed when within the body's sheath, the eye can struggle through to its reality.
Utter not that word in front of him who stands before you now in spirit realms and lives on earth as Capesius. When this word sounds, he longs to flee from it, for here it burns him fiercely.
Do you so hate what raises human beings to their full stature? How are you able to exist here if the word I appears to you so terrifying? For no one reaches this domain without experience of this world's being.
He who stands before you now has often stood before Lucifer, the ruler of this realm, who has revealed to him that only souls who consciously can use those powers which stem from their earthly bodies can harm the realm over which he rules. Those souls, however, who live their lives wrapped in deep unconsciousness, but yet possess clairvoyant power, they only learn in Lucifer's domain and cannot do it harm.
I know that here within these spirit realms, one learns by sight and not by word. What in this moment I have come to see through your appearance here to me will later prove itself within my soul as progress on my spirit path.
Here it is not only teaching that one gains, but duties also are revealed. You have here spoken to the soul, which in the body calls itself Capesius. The spirit insight which you have gained from former lives on earth has clearly shown to you that karmically you owe him much. Thus you should ask of Lucifer that he, the great bearer of the light, allow you to protect Capesius on the earth. Through your wisdom, you will know well what you can do for him, so that he may, in a later life on earth, be led to you again, that the debt can be repaid.
Must I let this sacred task fulfill itself through Lucifer?
You will desire to fulfill this task, and can only do it with the help of Lucifer. But look, he comes, the spirit of the light.
Maria, at my throne you are requesting self-knowledge for the human soul to whom you are attached in earthly life. He shall, by the beholding of my being, first learn to know himself in his reality. He will arrive at this without your aid. How can you think that I would grant to you what you wish to accomplish for your friend? You follow Benedictus as your guide, who is my strong opponent on the earth, devoting all his forces to my foe. He has been able to tear much away from me. Johannes has renounced his leadership and now has given himself instead to me. not yet can he behold my real being, because he lacks full power of seership. He will attain it later on only through me, and then be mine completely. But I command you not to speak a word which might in any way refer to him, as long as you are standing at my throne. Such words would burn me spoken here at this place. Words are deeds, and further deeds must follow them. And what would follow from your words, that may not be.
You are obliged to hear her, for where the word possesses action's force, it comes as the result of former deeds. The deed compelling Lucifer already has been done. Maria is my own true pupil in the spirit, and I have guided her to that maturity through which she recognized the highest spirit task. This certainly she will fulfill. Fulfillment of her duty will not fail to form the healing forces in Johannes that will release him from your realm. Maria carries in her soul a holy, solemn vow that will arouse these healing forces for the progress of the world. You soon will hear it spoken forth in words. Your aura's brilliant light gives you the magic power of opposition and power to gain by force all selfhood. If you, with strength of thought, will dim your brilliance, the healing rays that shine out of Maria's vow perhaps will be perceptible to you. These rays will shine in future with such force that their strong love will draw Johannes to their realm.
Johannes will soon appear here, yet accompanying his earthly form will be that being whom carried hidden deep within his nature's depths appears as his more potent double. For if Johannes were to perceive you only as you reveal yourself before his earthly form, it would not give him all he needs for his soul's further progress. Now to his double you shall give all that will be of use to him upon those paths which in the future I will guide his steps.
So must Johannes then appear to me. Well do I feel the power that you both exert. It has opposed me since the earth began.
Oh, my own double image. Up to now, you've only shown yourself to me so that I might be frightened at myself. I know but little of you. Still, I recognize that it is you who guides my soul. You are a hindrance, therefore, to my free existence. The reason also that I cannot grasp what in reality I am. In front of Lucifer, I have to hear you speak, to see what I in future shall achieve.
I could indeed come often to Johannes and bring him recognition of himself. Yet I was active only in those depths of soul which still are hidden from his consciousness. My life within his inmost soul has long since undergone important change. Maria stood beside him years ago. He thought that he was joined with her in spirit. I showed him that his instincts and his passions were actually the pilots of his soul. He understood this only as reproach. But you, exalted bearer of the light, have shown his sensuousness the way it best may serve the spirit. From Maria, Johannes had to separate his life. Since then, he gave his efforts to strict thinking, and this has power to purify the soul. What streamed forth from his purity of thought flowed over into me. I was transformed, for now I also feel his purity in me. He does not have to be afraid of me if he feels drawn back to Maria's side. But he belongs as yet to your domain. And at this moment, I demand him back. For he shall now experience my being without your interference. He needs me so that now into his thinking soul, warmth and forces of the heart as well are mightily enkindled from my being. He shall once more regain his humanness.
Your striving in itself is good, and yet I cannot let you do what you desire. For should I give you back now to Johannes in the same being's shape as you appeared before his soul perception years ago, he would from now on only give his love to thinking and cold knowledge. All warmth of selfhood would appear to him unfeeling, void of essence, as if dead. I cannot use my powers to make him this. Though through me, then, he must discover in himself his personality, the being that's his own. I must transform you, that the right step now is made for his own good and for his progress. Long since have I prepared what this time must dearly show itself in you. Henceforth, you shall appear as a quite other being. Johannes will no longer love Maria, as he has loved her in the past, but he will love another with the passion and all the strength with which he once loved her.
The noble work in which we have succeeded, you wish now to transform to your own use. You bound Johannes once by his heart's force to you. And now you'll see that you must make the fetters stronger still if you would hold his being in your power. Indeed, his heart is longing to submit itself completely to the Spirit. And if he comes to this, the deed which he accomplished for the sake of higher knowledge on the earth will in the future fall into the hands of powers you oppose since earth's beginning. If you succeed in changing cunningly the love felt by Johannes for Maria into the passion you have need of now for your own aims. He will, from spirit worlds, then turn the good he has achieved to evil.
Then he may not be saved? It is not destined that he must fall victim to the powers who want to capture for themselves his work.
It would take place if all the forces stay as until now they have been able to develop. But if at the right hour you will allow your vow to take effect within your soul, those forces must in future change their course.
So work, compelling powers, and feel, you elemental spirits, the forces of your master. Then pave the way that from the realms of earth there can come forth to Lucifer's domain what my desires demand, what shall obey my will.
Who calls me into realms so strange to me? I love it only when the worlds of gods are willing lovingly to show themselves. And warmth in blissful weaving round my heart draws spirit words out of my inmost soul.
Oh, how you transform my whole existence. You have appeared, and now I am a being who only can work on, made one with you. Through me, Johannes shall belong to you. He shall from now on give to you the love which once rose in his heart so fearfully and warmly for Maria. He saw you years ago, but did not feel what even then was secretly engendered as warmth of love in deepest grounds of soul. Now it will rise and fill his being with the strength to turn his every thought to you alone.
Crucial moment now is very near. His strongest force has Lucifer unfolded. Maria, your discipleship of soul must take a stand against him mightily.
O bearer of that light, which would confine love only to the service of the self, you have even from earth's beginning granted weak men knowledge, that they, still guided as the gods intended, obeyed the Spirit's will unconsciously, and had no knowledge of self. And since that time, when the souls of human beings have been the place where you combat the gods, the times are now fast approaching, which must destroy you and your realm. A bold thinker using your gifts delivered scientific knowledge in such a way that it submits itself unto the gods of men. But you attempt once more to bring the powers intended for the gods unto yourself, because Johannes, by his deed, has taken away from you that fruit of knowledge by which you once could tempt humanity. You seek to tempt him now by means of love, which, according to his plan of destiny, he should never feel for Theodora. Now you will fight by love to counter wisdom, as you fought by wisdom against love. But learn that in the heart, which in this hour Maria brings to oppose you, discipleship in spirit has aroused, the power to keep all knowledge free from self-doubt, love. I will in future never allow myself to have the bliss human beings feel through the maturing of their thought. My heart's prepared for sacrifice, and my spirit shall always think in order that the fruits of knowledge be offered to the gods. Knowledge will be for me a deed of consecration. And what within me I shall thus achieve, stream over to Johannes mightily. Then in future, when often within his heart the words resound which come to him from you, his human nature shall in love discover what gives his separate being strength. And then my heart will answer you with power. At earth's beginning, you were heard whilst showing wisdom's fruit. The fruit of love shall humans accept only from realms of gods.
I mean to do battle.
And battling serve the gods.
Wow. Wow, dear friends. Can we not hear Maria? Can we not hear Marie in here in this battle before us? Yes, thank you so much. Just stupendous. Thank you so much. Thank you. So we will end our time with a verse that Rudolf Steiner spoke on Christmas Eve. They say 1 hour after the fire had been already understood something was going on. And I think that it brings us back to Theodora's offering in the beginning verse. So we will end with that, and Hazel Archer-Ginsberg will bring that for us. And we thank you all here for joining with us today on Marie Steiner's birthday.
Bless you, Dottie. Thank you so much. Wow, friends, I've just got shivers from that reading. Thank you. It's so beautiful to see everyone and to be here in the Shrinerai. Yeah, this lecture is called Spiritual Knowledge is a True Communion, the beginning of a cosmic cult suitable for human beings of the present age. So as Dottie said, he gave this on that New Year's Eve, and an hour later, the fire consumed the first Goetheanum. So the verse that we will end with, here we go. In earth activity draws near to me, given to me in substance imaged form, the heavenly being of the stars. In willing, I see them transformed with love. In watery life, stream into me, forming me through with power of substance force, the heavenly deeds of the stars. In feeling, I see them transformed with wisdom. In earth activity draws near to me, given to me in substance imaged form, the heavenly being of the stars. In willing, I see them transformed into love. In watery life stream into me, forming me through with power of substance force, the heavenly deeds of the stars. In feeling, I see them transformed with wisdom. Love and wisdom. Yeah, that's one.
Many thanks to everybody for working with the words. Muchas gracias.